back to the Homespun Annie channel. In this ASMR video, I thought it would be fun to do a flip through of my grandma's vintage Betty Crocker Cooky Book. And this is something that she gave to me a long time ago, and it was hers for a long time before that. But yeah, this is something she gave it to me. I think, oh man, I was probably in middle school, I want to say. I'm not 100% on how old I was when she gave it to me, but I want to say it was middle school. It could have been high school, but anyway. And one thing I remember is sitting at the kitchen table in the morning before school and eating a bowl of cereal and flipping through this book. And I did that so many mornings. So anyway. But yeah, I thought I would share it with you guys. It has definitely seen better days. So it has some wear and tear. Just the back of it. So it says, here's the complete cookie book. More than 450 recipes, dozens of appetizing full-color photographs, and many how-to-do sketches. This treasury of cookie baking embraces all tastes, from the old-fashioned and traditional to the new and sophisticated, plus a large section devoted entirely to holiday cookies. Fun to use, perfect to give. So, here you can see down here the copyright, and the copyright is from 1963. So I'm not sure if this would still be considered retro or vintage. I think it would be considered vintage at this point. But I don't know. I know there's a certain, number of years where something becomes retro or vintage or antique. So, and you can see that it is coming off of it's pulling apart from the spine of the book or from the cover. And so I'm sure, unfortunately, but I'm sure that I can look up, I can find how I could fix that, and I probably will, because I want this book to last as long as possible. Okay, so, and then there's this little letter here from Betty Crocker. And you've got the table of contents. So the first little section is the cookie primer. And you've got drop cookies, bar cookies, refrigerator cookies, rolled cookies, pressed cookies, molded cookies. Then we've got holiday cookies. So Valentine's Day and St. Patrick's Day, Easter and Halloween, Christmas. Family favorites, cookies for children, lunchbox cookies, cookies for travel, heritage cookies, cookies for special diets, quick and easy cookies, brownies, date bars, ginger cookies, cookies made from mixes, company best cookies, tea time cookies, cookies for a crowd, confections, and then Betty Crocker's best cookies. And so this is called Cookie Primer. And so this was, this tells you different tools that you need, how to measure your flour, measure the flour by dipping, baking hints, how to store cookies, how to freeze cookies. I love in the necessary utensils. One of them is a rotary egg beater or electric mixer, but I don't know of anyone who uses a rotary egg beater anymore. I'm sure there's someone out there who does, but here's a rotary beater. And then just some little tips for, what causes dry cookie dough. How it can be corrected. How can dry cookie dough be prevented? What causes soft cookie dough? So, and then we get into the actual recipes. And the first ones are drop cookies. Then it talks about how to make perfect drop cookies. And so the first couple of recipes, one is an applesauce cookie and an orange drop cookie. And down here you can see they have these little pictures of the cookies. So this is the chocolate chip cookies. On page 144, holiday fruit drops and kisses. And then on this one we've got chocolate drop cookies, brown sugar drops, and then some more cookies down here, chocolate drop cookies, chocolate cherry drops, coconut cherry cookies, satin glazed date drops. And then like brown sugar drops, and then it'll show you some different modifications you can make to the recipe to make a different cookie with kind of the same base. And I mean, like, these are cookies that you never hear of today. And like pineapple cookies. And so we have pineapple raisin cookies, pineapple coconut cookies, and salted peanut crisps. Now, old-fashioned oatmeal cookies. That's something that it's definitely still, that's a cookie that you would hear of today. And actually, oatmeal cookies are my husband's favorite. And we've got molasses jumbles and jubilee jumbles. And again, these are ones that I've just, you never see today. So you've got molasses jumbles, cranberry drops, Indian jumanas, and that's one that, never heard of today. So, and one of the things that I find really interesting is there's an ingredient used in a lot of these cookies, and it's shortening. So most of these recipes use shortening instead of butter, or they'll use like half shortening, half butter combinations. And I never use shortening in my cookies. I think there were a couple times when I was a kid and I made cookies out of this book, and I would use shortening because it was in the recipe, and my mom always had shortening on hand. But as an adult, I never use vegetable shortening. I always, as an adult, when I've made recipes out of this book, if it calls for shortening, I just straight up use butter. And I just completely substitute butter for the shortening. Here's some butterscotch brownies. I'm pretty sure that I made these at one point. Not in it was years and years ago. And then they have these angel sandwiches and date nut squares. You've got plantation fruit bars, toffee squares, white fruit bars, cherry coconut bars, lemon squares, dream bars. Interesting. Dream bars over here. Teen Time chocolate nut bars. Lemon squares. I mean, that's a recipe that you find a lot. You can, people still make lemon squares today. So, chocolate fruit bars, coconut apricot strips. And then we get to perfect refrigerator cookies. So you've got chocolate peppermint cookies, ginger almond cookies, and kaleidoscope cookies. Vanilla refrigerator cookies, and I'm pretty sure I've made these at one point. Cinnamon slices, easy Chinese almond cookies, oatmeal coconut crispies, date pinwheels, half and half cookies, refrigerator filled cookies. And then we've got rolled cookies. Now this Ethel sugar cookies I have made many, many times. And this is the recipe that I used for years to make my, Christmas cutout sugar cookies. And, and for this, like I said, because it called for shortening and then part butter margarine, and I would just do all butter. I since have a different cookie recipe that I use for Christmas sugar cookies, but I remember I would always pull out this book and use this recipe for my sugar cookies at Christmas time. So we got snowflakes, old-fashioned sour cream cookies, buttery nut rounds, cherry-filled cookies, gâteau bonbons, tiny fudge tarts. Here's a little hint. Sticky fruits can be cleaned from your food grinder quickly and easily by running a few small pieces of dry bread through it. Just so you know. Oops, see, this page has completely come out altogether. Sad, sad, sad. We've got Moravian ginger cookies, Merrymaker cookies, cheese dainties, Scotch shortbread. Then we've got press cookies. And I have my mom's very old cookie press. And that's another one that we make at Christmas time. And I'm not sure if her cookie press also belonged to my grandma. I think it did. Yeah, I think her cookie press was my grandma's cookie press. And I have it now. So the holiday spritz. I use a different recipe than this for the pressed cookies, but it's pretty similar. So this must, I think this is just it's a little cookie recipe from, I must have gotten it from a friend. I don't remember who or when. And I just stuck it in here. And this is for buttercream cookies. So we've got peanut butter fingers, lemon cheese pressed cookies. Lemon cheese, interesting. Oh, so it uses cream cheese, okay. Viennese shortbread. And then molded cookies. We got snickerdoodles. And for a long time, this was the recipe I used for snickerdoodles. And then I kind of started playing with it, and I made my own snickerdoodle recipe. But yeah, this was the one. And you can, I don't know if you can see it in the video. There's like, you can tell that there's some flour or sugar or something kind of stuck to the page. So this was another page I used often. Peanut butter cookies, candy cane cookies, ginger snaps. I think one time I did make the candy cane cookies. They're on a different page, but cockle shells, cookie candies, Russian tea cakes. That's another one my mom would make. We called them snowballs. It was always a Christmas recipe. And she would make these at Christmas time. I'm not sure if she used, I don't think she used the recipe out of this book, but that's one I still make. I still make it every year. And I don't know, I haven't used the recipe from this book, but I should try it. And we've got bonbon cookies, coconut butter balls, Brazilian coffee cookies, lemon drops or lemon snowdrops. I bet those would be really good. Wonder Bar cookies. Now we get into some holiday cookies, and we've got ones for Valentine's Day. Love letters. St. Patrick's Day, we've got shamrock cookies. And these have peppermint extract, and then green food coloring. Easter cookies, got Greek Easter cookies. So for Halloween, you've got pumpkin cookies. And of course, Christmas. And then you've got some pages with these color pictures, which are really fun to look at. Look at the wallpaper. Oh my goodness. Christmas bells. Wonderland cookies. It's so interesting because some of these recipes, I mean, the ingredients are, a lot of the ingredients are the same. Some more pictures. So here are these little candy canes, and years ago I made these. I think I got pretty frustrated because the dough was pretty dry, and it was hard. It was actually pretty hard to shape them. So these are just a lot more, I think these are considered, Christmas cookies. We've got cranberry drops, cream wafers, satin glazed date drops, frozen fruit cookies. I mean, these are just ones that you just don't hear of today. This is I don't even know, Zimtstern, a crisp, spiky cookie with a shiny glazed top, a favorite in Switzerland. It's a Swiss cookie. Interesting. It would be fun to actually, these were ones that I never made. It'd be fun to actually try some of these and see how they turn out. Honey-filled biscuits. Here's another Swedish one. I don't know how to pronounce that. Sam Backelser. I'm going to butcher the pronunciation. This is a German cookie. Pfeffer. I'm pretty sure that's Pfeffernuss. Light Pfeffernuss. The light fruited version of a traditional German Christmas cookie. They may be made larger if you wish. Make them 2 to 3 weeks before Christmas. Then mellow by storing with a slice of apple. Interesting. Oh, and then there's dark Pfeffernuss. A small, somewhat hard molasses cookie with a mild anise flavor. A Christmas tradition in the home of Anne Burkhart of our staff, who makes them tiny, about 1/2 inch in diameter. So the pictures will have a little diagram as to what each cookie is. So this one is, these ones are Berliner Kranzer. A delicious and buttery, these gay little cookie wreaths are made each holiday season in Norway. So they're Norwegian. Cream wafers, right here. Zucker Hutchen, which are these little things. And then crumb cake. So the Zucker Hutchen, see, I'm probably not pronouncing that right. These delightful cookies are appropriately called little sugar hats. And then crumb cake. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. A Scandinavian delicacy from Catherine Bergford of our staff, who usually bakes a double batch and stores them carefully in waxed paper-lined cardboard boxes for the just before Christmas enjoyment of her 6 grandchildren. So here are Russian tea cakes. Wait, yeah. You've got the little snowballs. And then you've got holiday fruit drops, chocolate crinkles, butter crunch convection cookies, and kaleidoscope cookies. See, there's these ones. These are German cookies. Kuchen, dear. Traditional Christmas honey cakes from the Black Forest region of Germany. Spring Girl, specially carved boards or rolling pins used for stamping the designs on these hard anise-flavored cookies were brought to our country by German families. I actually bought this last year. I bought some of these type rolling pins that have more like Christmas patterns on them for making Christmas cookies, and I didn't end up using them because I was very much pregnant, and all of the Christmas cookie baking that I had planned kind of went out the window because I was just did not have the energy to do a bunch of Christmas baking. So next Christmas I will definitely be using those. Monkey-faced, so these are family favorites, and these are monkey-faced cookies. Children can hardly wait until these cookies are out of the oven to see the comical expressions that the raisin faces have taken on in baking. So I wonder... Okay. Drop rounded teaspoonfuls of dough 2.5 inches apart on ungreased baking sheet. Place 3 raisins on each for eyes and mouth. Bake for 10 to 12 minutes. Allow to remain on the baking sheet. The faces take on droll expressions in the baking. Malted milk rounds. Here we have storybook cookies. Magic carpet cookies. Alice's oatmeal rounds. Whoa. Cheerios molasses patties. If your children like caramel corn, they'll love these crispy confections. So they're, wait, where are they? Oh, here. Here they are. Almost, interesting. I want to say kind of like a Rice Krispie treat, but not really. You've got Cocoa Puff Balls. Trix cookies. So these are made with cereal. Looks like. Wheaties Cherry Blinks. Which are these? Cookie House. New Northland cookies. Ruth G. Anderson, former editor of our cookbooks, brought back this recipe after a scenic cruise via the St. Lawrence River to Labrador. Applesauce brownies. So raisin crisscross cookies, coffee fruit drops, golden nuggets, fig nut squares. Canadian honey drops. These soft brown sugar cookies look just like children's yo-yos when put together in pairs with apricot jam. So it's a Canadian cookie. So these were all cookies that are supposed to be good for traveling. You can pack them, you can put them in your lunchbox or take them with you. Or banana oatmeal cookies. Another page falling apart. Joe Froggers. Our adaptation of the famous molasses cookies made long ago by old Uncle Joe of Marblehead, Massachusetts. The cookies are as plump and dark as the little frogs that lived in the pond near Joe's cottage. Thumbprint cookies. Those are cookies you would still see today. Thumbprint cookies. Nut rich, the thumb dents filled with sparkling jelly. We are as delighted with Ken Mackenzie's addition to our cookie collection as she is when presented with antique thumbprint goblets. Page 36. Okay, I'm curious. Antique thumbprint goblets. Okay. All right. Hard cooked egg cookies. This recipe, this is really interesting. This recipe calls for 1 egg, uncooked it says, and then 3/4 of a cup of sieved hard cooked egg yolks, 5 egg yolks. That is really interesting. I wonder how those are. I've never heard of using, hard-boiled eggs or cooked egg yolks in cookies before. Here's some more awesome wallpaper. And these are Jan Hagel. From Holland come these crisp, buttery rich strips with baked on nut glaze. Quick and easy, especially nice for teas or as an accompaniment to ice cream desserts. We call them Dutch ale. So Dutch cookie. Got some more wallpaper. Centennial molasses spice drops. 100 years ago, homemakers used vinegar in much of their cooking, even in cookie baking. So, more than 100 years ago now, but that's interesting. Putting vinegar in cookies. See, some of these would just be fun to try and make and just to see what they're like. How to freshen drop cookies. Freshen drop cookies by reheating in a covered casserole in slow oven, 300 degrees, 8 to 10 minutes. Re-crisp cookies on an ungreased baking sheet or in a shallow pan in slow oven, 300 degrees, 3 to 5 minutes. Canadian oatmeal shortbread, butterscotch shortbread, These old soda bottles and the milk bottle. They've got records. Records, or they also call them, right, vinyls. My parents, I remember when I was really little, my parents had a record player and a bunch of old records. And I would play the records. Indian Jumanas. South American Indians use achiote, I think that's how you pronounce that, the seed of the annatto tree to color these tender, nutmeg-flavored cookies yellow, and chopped wild spinach for the green color. But of course, in this recipe they just use yellow and green food coloring. Oh, so here are cookies for different... Oh, here we go. Because people on diets often crave forbidden sweets, we offer here a few recipes for cookies for dieters. None is intended as a prescription cookie, but where ingredients do not conflict with doctor's specifications, these recipes offer a welcome addition to restrictive diets. Such cookies serve the added social purpose of allowing you, your family, or dieting friends to participate when refreshments are served. So you have, here's a cookie for salt-free diet. So Italian anise toast, a good conversation piece when served with ice cream, fruit, or cheese, and there's no salt in it. Bland diets. Those on bland diets may be served a variety of vanilla or butter cookies, any cookie delicate in flavor and made without nuts, like banana bars below. It's interesting, bland diet. I wonder why you would be put on a bland diet. You don't hear of that. You don't hear of that today. Someone being put on a bland diet. And then, of course, diets low in saturated fats. Oh my goodness, it's so funny because I think we know a lot better now. So the diets low in saturated fats. Those on diets low in saturated fats have found vegetable oils, such as our Saffolife safflower oil, easy to measure and quick to mix. Oh no. Yes, we know better today. At least I hope we do. Fat is not the enemy, but also vegetable oils are not the kind of oils you want to be eating. Anyway, it's just funny. Here's like a low-fat diet one. Anyway, quick and easy cookies. Brownie confections, fudge frosting for brownies, brownie delight. You know, these pages are still in fairly good condition. So you can tell these were ones that never made what was on these pages. So mincemeat date bars, date bar drop cookies, spice date bars. I think these are supposed to be a template for cutting out those storybook cookies. Yeah, or cutting out these. It's like today, you see such gorgeously decorated cookies. I mean, it's a whole art form now. And so it's really kind of cute to see how these all were decorated. Just very simple. But yeah, there's just pages and pages of cookies. And I feel like a lot of them you never hear. You never hear of them today. Company best cookies. Afternoon tea is a gracious and elegant way to entertain your friends with ease and at a small expense. Welcome a newcomer to the neighborhood or honor an out-of-town guest at a small tea for 12. Announce your daughter's engagement or introduce prospective club members at a large tea for 50 or 100 guests. On these pages are dozens of recipes for fancy, rich, delicious little cookies to accompany tea and coffee. Cheese Dainties, a rich, flaky cream cheese cookie with filling of your favorite preserves. We've got Buttermix pressed cookies, green peppermint meltaways, these things here, angel sandwiches, and meringue cookies. Gâteau bonbons, chocolate orange puffs, lace roll-ups, Florentines, and more wallpaper. Now I've got some wood paneling. So, Austrian cream cookies, these square ones, Greek Easter cookies, Egyptian rose leaves, and Canadian oatmeal shortbread. Egyptian rose leaves. Rose-flavored cookies shaped like rose petals or leaves, as they are called in Egypt. Since flour is scarce in Egypt, this cookie is reserved for weddings and other special occasions. It uses soluble fluid rose from the drugstore. Koulouria from Smyrna. Interesting. So these are showing you These are like, so you can make depending on how big of a crowd you need to feed. Wheaties date balls for children of all ages. These are called tinglings. Snow-capped date confections. Peanut clusters. Lemon clusters. Date. Coconut confections. Kix toffee. So I'm guessing this is Kix cereal. Yep, Kix cereal. Crisp, buttery toffee mixed with Kix. Brittle, but at the same time, melt in your mouth. Betty Crocker's best cookies. Fashions in cookies, like fashions in women's dress, have changed down through the years. Here's a nostalgic piece at the pace-setting cookies of 7 decades from Betty Crocker's kitchens, most of them having once attained popularity, have continued to fill America's cookie jars as favorites of each succeeding generation. So, the best cookie of 1880 to 1890 was Hermit's. Spicy, fruity, satisfying. One of our earliest favorites, rich with spices from the Indies, plump with fruits and nuts. Hermit's originated in Cape Cod and clipper ship days. They went to sea on many a voyage, packed in canisters and tucked in sea chests. I don't know that I've ever had a Hermit. The best cookie of 1890 to 1900 were cinnamon jumbles. Another one I've never had. The best cookie of 1900 to 1910 were oatmeal drop cookies. Favorite cookie at the turn of the century, the nut-like flavor and chewy eating quality of oatmeal cookies have made them a favorite of families for decades. The tang of molasses and a hint of cinnamon lend delicious flavor to this hearty cookie, selected from dozens of other delicious recipes. The best cookie of 1910 to 1920, ginger creams. Cookie choice of the decade. Most of the nation's families still lived on farms and in rural areas where molasses was used more commonly than sugar. When chores were finished, children trooped to the cookie jar for cookies like these. The best cookie of 1920 to 1930. Much requested in the Roaring Twenties, legend has it that the first brownies were a fallen chocolate cake. However it happened, brownies are the first choice for picnic baskets, carried lunches, and boxes from home. They still head the cookie hit parade today. The best cookie of 1930 to 1935, molasses crinkles. Cookie Spanish Depression blues. After the stock market crash, money was scarce and families enjoyed simple pleasures like reading aloud, taking nature hikes, and visiting friends. All occasions for chewy, hearty cookies like these. (1935 to 1940) chocolate chip cookies. New cookie sweeps the nation. I never knew the chocolate chip cookie was created in It says 1939. The luscious cookie from the New England Toll House, Whitman, Massachusetts, enjoyed immediate and continuing popularity. It was introduced to homemakers in 1939 on our radio series, Famous Foods from Famous Places. And I have to say, if I were forced to pick a favorite cookie to bake, I would have to say chocolate chip cookies. If I had to pick only one cookie that I could bake for the rest of my life, it would be chocolate chip cookies. And you can also find my chocolate chip cookie recipe on my blog. So 1940 to 1945, caramel refrigerator cookies. War effort brings simplified baking. Men went off to war and women took their places in production lines. Thus, cookie baking and other home tasks had to be speeded up. That's funny, they use it to speed it up. Sped up. It's just funny they used speed it up. Anyway, refrigerator cookies like these were popular because the dough could be mixed one day, sliced and baked the next. 1945 to 1950, holiday fruit drops. Nation enjoys post-war boom. With the boys back home and sugar no longer rationed, Christmas holidays were happy indeed. Rich, colorful cookies like these were perfect for all types of holiday hospitality. 1950 to 1955, cookies please the younger set. The baby boom begun following World War II continues in the decade. With kids in the house, cookies disappear like magic, and moms need quick and easy cookies like this one. 1955 to 1960, bonbon cookies. Candy-like cookies in vogue. Women were fascinated by these beautiful and delicious cookies, which were baked as cookies served and eaten as candies. Oh, they were baked as cookies and served and eaten as candies. Excitement over bonbons brought more candy cookies, toffee squares, and cream filberts, for example. 1960 to 1963, French lace cookies. Jet travel brings nations closer. Ever since the return of servicemen from overseas, interest of foreign foods had been mounting. Now jet travelers come home anxious to imitate or adapt the exciting and unusual foods that they enjoyed abroad. And then we get to the back where they have the icing recipes. And then the index. That's it. So anyway, there was my grandma's Betty Crocker Cooky Book. So anyway, I really hope that you enjoyed this ASMR video. If you did, please subscribe to my channel, give this video a like, and share with somebody you think might enjoy it. And I will talk to you guys in the next video.